So he went from being a barista to doing over 7 figures with dropshipping in just 2 years. What's poppin', people? It's your boy the Beast of Ecom, and I am back with another video dropping nothing but you already know, value bombs. So today's video is going to be a little bit different to my usual content. Recently, I interviewed Albert, who's one of my 7-figure Ecom Beast 2.0 students. Now, this guy went from working a 9-to-5 serving coffee as a barista to generating over 7 figures with his dropshipping stores in just 2 years. He's already generated over $500,000 with his dropshipping store in 2021 alone. So I thought you guys would get some massive value out of this video, and I asked him all of those questions that a lot of people would like to know, such as how did he actually find dropshipping? How did he find his first winning product? And actually he does reveal what his first winning product was, how he scaled it, what is he doing now, some of his big achievements, and also most importantly, what are some of the setbacks and some of his advice to you guys if you are in a similar position. I can guarantee that you're gonna get tons of value out of this video. So if you could do just 2 small things for me, first and foremost, smash that like button, helps out the channel, helps the video grow. And second of all, drop a comment down below. We cover so many things in this. I can guarantee that you're gonna get tons of questions out of it as well. Comment all of those down below and I'll personally go through and try and reply to as many as I possibly can. Okay, so we have a 7-figure student of mine. His name is Albert. Albert, it's a pleasure to have you on here. I believe that it is morning time where you're at?
Yeah.
That is correct. So 7 a.m. in the morning. So this is going to be an interview. I've got loads of questions that I want to ask Albert on how he's been able to go from, we'll talk about what he was doing previously before, but essentially how he's been able to literally crush it and crush 7 figures with dropshipping. I've got tons of stuff to ask you and we're going to give away loads of value in this kind of like podcast video. I've never done one of these on my channel before, but I know that you guys are going to get tons of value out of it. So let's jump straight into things. Albert, first and foremost, if you can give the people on the channel a brief interview of kind of who you are, where you're from, and how long you've kind of been dropshipping for.
Sure. I'm from Spain originally, but I got out of there maybe 5 years ago and I came here to Australia. I've been dropshipping for the past 2 years. I would say almost exactly 2 years now. But I only started getting any results like a year ago. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. So I didn't actually know that you were from Spain, but I could tell that you had a little bit of an accent.
I know.
But I didn't know, where exactly you was from. But that's cool to know. So before you was actually, before dropshipping, everyone always has their kind of story of how they kind of got into it, how they came across it. Some people stumble upon it by accident. Some people, have done like something related to dropshipping and then kind of found it that way, or selling through eBay. I'm interested to know kind of like, what was you doing before, and what was your life like before you actually before you got into dropshipping? What was your kind of job, or what did you get up to?
So before dropshipping, I was a barista for 4 years. So I was making coffee. I live in Melbourne, so in Melbourne it's like the coffee scene is massive.
Yeah.
So I was a barista here, but I got into all of this a bit before that. I got into this 5 years ago. I was living in London actually for half a year, finishing my master's.
Yeah.
And you know how expensive London is, yeah. So I was a poor student, and I don't know, I wanted to do something business. I wanted to make some money, but I didn't want to go and just get a shitty job. So I just got somehow into 4chan business. And people were talking about eBay selling, and now that you mention it, import and resell. So I really got into that. I don't know why. I started reading all the forums and everything, and I got into it. For 2 months, I started. I finally decided, all right, I'm going to invest in it. I got 3 products, and then one of them was a winner. I started making a bunch of money, and just like internet money, I was tripping balls.
That was with eBay, right? That was with eBay, right?
Man.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I was eBay with all the little notes for the customer. I was running to the post office with like 3 backpacks on me with my cranky bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Made a bunch of money there, and then I moved here, and I thought I would do the same here. But in Australia, for some reason, I don't know if it was the time difference or if it was just because it's close to Asia, there's a lot of Chinese that are doing the same with like prices that you can compete with. You just don't have access to these pricings. So a friend got me into coffee, and that's it. I just moved on and worked as a barista for 4 years. And I met someone in coffee, actually, that all of a sudden, out of the blue, turned into a business person.
Yeah.
And one day I was like, look, dude, you have to tell me what you're doing, what's going on. And he said, drop shipping. And I was like, oh, drop shipping. And yeah.
So this mystical guy was the guy who kind of introduced you into drop shipping, and then you kind of went down a rabbit hole of finding it. Okay, cool. So what kind of like allured you into drop shipping specifically? Was it more of a case of just making money on kind of online, or was it like because like personally for me it was more of a case of I wanted to be able to make money online without having to while I could travel all over the place. And you've mentioned you kind of done the eBay before, but was there any specific reason why you went for drop shipping at all? Was it the
first obviously the freedom, but I was already into online stuff. I had tried to start a brand in here in Australia a bit before dropshipping, but it was, again, I didn't know anything about Facebook ads. I didn't know anything about dropshipping. So everything was import and resell. And it was a fucking mess. It was a mess having all this stock. I don't know if you see, I've got this big shelf in here. It goes like 3 more rows. I bought this just so that I could store all of that crap.
Yeah.
So I ran that for a few months, broke even, and I was like, fuck this. I'm done. I'm going to move on to something that I don't need this much of a headache. And then this guy appeared, and I was like, all right, dropshipping, I'm just going to try it. I had heard about dropshipping, but everybody talked about it really sketchily.
Yeah.
Back when I was doing eBay, dropshipping was like don't be dodgy.
Yeah. So like when you was doing your research into dropshipping, how did you start to come across of like what you were learning? So the first things at some point obviously you found my channel, etc. But was you jumping into just YouTube? Was it more of the case of like Facebook groups? How did you get that initial basis to start? Where did the rabbit hole start essentially?
Yeah. That same day that I met with this friend, and he told me that he had been dropshipping for a year and that he had sold his businesses for 60K. I was like, I'm going to start dropshipping. I don't care what it takes. So I got home, I started researching online. I didn't get into YouTube because I didn't want to, there was a lot of content and a lot of free, dodgy guru stuff. So I was like, I'm just going to find a course. I'm going to pay for it. And I'm just going to go down that hole. And I found your course. The one that seemed more reliable. I was doing some research, and the one that seemed to have more reviews and appear, it just seemed very genuine. Yeah. So, and you were doing it was your birthday actually, and you were doing a birthday 50% sale.
I do that. I do that every single. I do that every single year actually. Yeah. Okay, then. So cool.
I got that.
So it was more of a case of you wanted to, because some people are really against courses, some people really enjoy them, some people are advocate for them. I mean, I personally think that if you want, just the structure of it, I mean, there's a lot of information that is online, and pretty much YouTube is a foundation of a lot of different stuff. But if you want that kind of structure, then or essentially a fast track, then a course is definitely something that you can go with. So like you went through the course essentially, and then how was it after that? So talk to me about your first sale, because everyone knows what their first sale is like, and that feeling when you first get the cha-ching sound on Shopify, because everyone turns on their notifications as well, right? And they're constantly refreshing to see if you've got one. Talk me through and let people know like what was it like, and if you want to share also what your first winning product was, how did you find it, and what was it, and what was that feeling like?
Yeah. My first sale was not my first winning product, that's for sure. Yeah. My first sale, I think, was a toilet freaking seat cover that's like puffy and it's warm. Oh yeah. I started selling that stuff. Wow, that was horrible. So that was the first sale. But my first winner was a cranky bathroom scrubber. I'm sure you've seen it. It's like a blue and white tool that's like a long scrub that has different heads, and just like it's for all people to clean their bathrooms without hurting their back and stuff like that. Yeah. So that was the first one that I actually scaled to maybe $100,000. Wow. And that guy, I found it through one of the apps. I'm not sure if it was Shopify or one of these apps that Ali Shark. I was using these apps. Yeah. I wasn't using AdSpy yet because I was pretty poor. So I couldn't afford that stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, again, it's a lot of people like to use the tools. The only reason why the tools are out there, and again, you've mentioned some already on the call, but they do pretty much just kind of like speed up what I like to say is that, you know, they first and foremost, they speed up your ability to find out what a winning product looks like. And also another reason why I like to use paid tools is because they spur ideas, and they 9 times out of 10 they lead me down a rabbit hole. If you find something that's winning and you think, hey, I didn't even think of a niche like that, and then you'll go to Alibaba. And again, for people who are watching this, do this yourself. You know, get yourself a paid tool, have a look at what's winning, and then have a look on their page, and then you can find stuff like that on AliExpress or on Alibaba, which is similar in the same niche, but a little bit different, a little bit better, a little bit more quirky. And that's how I found, you know, a lot of different winning products as well. So what sort of, you said that you mentioned that you scaled it to, you know, 100K. Now a lot of people are going to be asking, okay, you know, here's Albert, he's gone from just getting not this barista to scale into 100K, right? How did you scale essentially from the just finding out winning products? How did you know it was a winning product and then scale into that 100K?
Yeah. Look, I knew it was a winning product. I didn't know it was a winning product. I hadn't had any winning products, but I wanted it to be. But it was on one of these apps, and the engagement was great on Facebook, and the guys were selling it. I checked there. You know, you check if the guys are still selling through the ads library, and they have plenty of ads that were scaling hard. Mm-hmm. So I thought, look, if they can scale it, I can scale it too. You know, if they can make it a winner. So I made the product page, but it was horrible. And then I had a friend that helped me a lot with product page designs and product page, and kind of like a consumer mentality. And I used literally like everything in the course in terms of ads, in terms of testing, in terms of scaling. I tested with just ABOs, I think, like 6 to 8 ad sets, and I just kept testing ABOs until something got there. Mm-hmm. I was breaking even for a few weeks. It wasn't a straight winner. I was breaking even for a few weeks, and I kept thinking, look, if I'm breaking even, it's data, you're buying data, change your mentality, you're buying data, you're not wasting money. And you were in my head. And eventually it just started to hit. The engagement got right, or something clicked. And then I just started scaling with ABOs. Back then we weren't using CBOs yet. So it was just dupe the ABO and increase budgets, dupe it into a new campaign. It was a mess of an ad account. If I had seen that now, it was a mess. It was campaigns and ad sets duplicated 5 times, but look, it got me where I wanted to get. So yeah, that's fine.
Fantastic. So you mentioned that you touched upon the product page, and I know a lot of people struggle with you know, a product page and you know, putting together like a winning product page. You said that you had a friend that helped you out. Knowing what you know now, what are some of the main key elements that, you know, essentially will help turn a visitor into a buyer? Because I see a lot of you know, pages out there, a lot of new people who are started dropshipping, and one of the biggest things that they always kind of fail on, or they lack on, and again, everyone starts at the bottom to start off with. It's only when you get better at your, you know, your copywriting and skills and those kind of things do you learn these. But what are some of the key components that you would say make up a great product page?
Definitely follow the ADA principle with attention, interest, desire, and action, and just make it clean, make it simple. Try to get on the customer's mind. So a lot of people go very technical with what they're explaining, and people don't care about technical words, and they don't care about the the specifics of how your electronic device works. They just care about what is this going to do to improve their lives. So as long as you can grasp that, as long as you have a bit of an idea of what these customers like and how this is going to solve their problem, they don't need to know all the specifics. You can have the specifics down at the bottom, some sort of table or something like that, just for the nitty-gritty ones. But the general person that's going to purchase your product, you don't know how much they will comprehend if you start going technical. So just keep it simple and try to think like them. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing that I've been doing a lot for people who are out there, just to expand on that, and again, you've already mentioned the kind of the AIDA principle. I think I've mentioned that in one of my other videos. But one thing that I like to do a lot is head into Amazon. If you're selling a specific product, right, go to Amazon, have a look at the exact same products that you are wanting to sell, and all of the information that you need in search of like keyword mining. What are the main keywords that people are searching for? You know, again, if you're selling a product, which let's just take for example the back spine thing, you know, are they consistently talking about that they can take it for travel, you know, or are they talking about you know, are they using it on their bed, or are they using it before they go to sleep, or they're using it in the morning, whatever it may. And also on Amazon, they've got questions as well. So, you know, people who are asking those questions, put those kind of questions or answer those questions inside of your, you know, product page, so that you're eliminating as much friction as possible. So yeah, some fantastic points that you've mentioned there. So we'll
also Hemingway app. Do you know the Hemingway app?
Say that again, sorry.
There's an app called, or a software called Hemingway app, or Hemingway, something like that. You can put a text in there and it'll analyze how difficult the text is to read, and it'll give you a grading depending on the schooling system, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7.
Oh yeah.
And if you can consistently keep things within grade 5 or below, that'll take, everyone will understand it.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you. So if you, that's the first time I've heard of that, but of course the whole concept of making your, you know, your copywriting easy to read for absolutely anyone is most important. It's going to help you again turn those visitors into buyers. So continuing on from kind of like, you know, going from a barista to doing your first 100K, at some point there's going to be some sort of setbacks. Okay, as an entrepreneur, there's always setbacks, and you know, I've faced my fair share. Anyone who I talk to who is successful has some sort of setbacks, regardless of whatever it is. And I think people need to have setbacks in order to get to their next level. What are some of the setbacks that you've had in your journey, and whether it being in that first 100K or whether it's kind of, you know, I know you've gone on to the 7 figures now. What are some of the major setbacks that you faced throughout that time?
Being greedy is definitely the first one. Chinese New Year, or any kind of anything that will slow down the dispatch of your orders, or if your supplier tells you, look, we're running out of stock, the factory has to make it, it's going to take 5 days. Don't trust it. It's not going to take 5 days. It's going to take 10 days at least. Stop your ads. This has been the major thing. A lot of emails back and forth of issues with orders not being delivered, or me being a little bit too sloppy and not. So this is, I had a one product store right after this winter that scaled pretty hard to 300K in a couple of months. But I had a supplier, an agent from AliExpress that I have found, and we were just doing everything private. But I didn't check what he was sending. I didn't ask him, hey, can you send me a photo of what you're sending, the package, everything? I didn't ask that. And after we had sent about 5,000 orders, we realized, or I started getting a ton of emails of customers that were saying, hey, this thing is coming in a mold that has a battery slot, and there's no battery in the thing. So I had thousands of customers asking where the hell was their battery, and they were like a typo on the writing or things like this. Just make sure that you know exactly what you're sending, exactly what the customer is receiving. That's probably the most important thing for me. Mm-hmm. And if something delays shipping, if there's Chinese New Year, if your supplier tells you like we're running low of stock, stop your ads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. And I agree with those things as well. And I think sometimes it's hard to say these things, especially for new people who may be watching this and may just come across their first winning product or their first winning store, you know, and they have things that are working, that are clicking. It's very hard to turn off a money tap, essentially, when things are working. You'll always get it back, you know, it happens. But when something happens in terms of your supply logistics, please do not scale, because it will only lead to a knock-on effect of, you know, banned ad accounts, merchant processors, kicking you off with chargebacks and stuff like that. So don't, again, if you are watching this and you had your first successes, or you're getting your first successes, if anything in the supply chain does go wrong, please don't put your foot to the gas just because you're seeing those money signs, okay? And also, one thing that you've mentioned there as well that I will say as well is that always, this is something that I always do now, is I always make sure that I get sent the product as well. Always get sent the product if you're going to scale it, because of course what happens is, first and foremost, by doing that, you're going to know how long essentially an estimate is going to take to being sent to you. So again, if you're in the UK and you're selling to the UK and your supplier is sending it to you, then you're going to say, okay, customers are getting it in around about 10 days, 14 days, whatever it may be. Then okay, other customers are getting it in that time. So that's number one. And then the second thing is, of course, having a look what the presentation looks like. What package does it come in? Does the instructions make sense? Because there's been times where you can sell a product and the instructions don't make sense, and they're all things that you can really just make these changes, like that, by just having a conversation with the supplier. So again, if you're watching this, always make sure that if you are going to scale a product, make sure that you have the physical product in your possession to do so. Okay. So, what are some of the kind of like the biggest achievements that you've had so far? Again, these could be monetary, or they could just be anything as a life achievement.
Yeah. Well, I quit my full-time job about a year ago. So that was the point I wanted. That was my first milestone that I wanted to get to. Quit the job and be confident that I can make this work without having to rely on something else. Obviously, hitting 1K, hitting 5K, hitting 10K, 15K a day, all of this helps, not so much the revenue. When you start hitting good numbers in terms of profit, you start hitting 4 figures in terms of profit a day, then you start getting, all right, this is working,
Yeah, that's great. At what point, because you mentioned there that you were, you were working for your job and then you obviously went full time. And again, I used to work 9-to-5 jobs as well. At what point did you decide, because there'll probably be a lot of people watching this as well who may be in the point whereby they're getting their first few sales and they at the point where they're thinking, do I want to take the leap into entrepreneurship or not? Because some people love safety, some people like being on the polar opposite side, which is entrepreneurship. And then there may be some people who be watching this who haven't got any sort of sales at all, but want to be in a position whereby they want to be an entrepreneur. At what point did you kind of say, or at what kind of numbers were you doing per day, or what clicked in your head to say, okay, at this point, I'm going to leave my job?
I told myself, if I did 3 months of making more money online than on the job, I would quit. But it got to the point really quick where I was in one day, I made what I used to make in a month and a half. In one day. So I was like, look, I'm not going to wait 3 months. This is enough. This is a good, everything was consistent. It took maybe a week of going like this. Now I was like, all right, this, even if I fail now, I've made it once, so it doesn't matter. I'll do it again.
Yeah. I mean, you could still go back to being a barista, worst case. So again, obviously everyone's got kind of different, in different stages in their lifetime, but of course, if you've got the opportunity whereby if things do go pear-shaped, you can just go back to what you were doing previously before. But it's fantastic that you've been able to go on to achieve what you've achieved. So what's your kind of life like now? From being a barista to being a 7-figure dropshipper, what's your kind of like daily routine, or what's your kind of life like now in terms of taking vacations, or talk to us about that.
I don't take a lot of vacations. I don't think I'm there yet. I want to hustle a little bit harder. And look, right now, what I do is I work a lot. I wake up very early. I do some exercise. I work from as early as I can. It's 7 a.m. if I can earlier. Work all day. Now I'm working with a friend. I got a couple of friends into it. So and they did well. And so now I'm working with a friend here at home and go to the gym. I live with my girlfriend and our cat. So, I've got a bit of responsibilities to attend to as well. But we haven't traveled much lately, honestly. It's between COVID and, COVID kind of was a blessing in disguise for me, because that's when I started to, people started to stay home and things started to click, and that's when I started to actually get it. So I've just been sitting, doing my thing, and as soon as I have enough, then I'm going to start considering moving around. And we want to live in Japan for a bit. We want to be moving around.
Yeah. Okay. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Great to hear. So, what are your kind of goals going forward in the next? Well, we're still early in 2021, but what are your goals kind of like for the next 5 years, 3 years, 5 years time? Where do you kind of like see yourself?
Look, I want to retire my parents. That's my first goal. I want to retire them. I want to get them out of any debt or anything. And if I can buy them a house, great. So that's definitely the first goal. Second goal is more about just automating things. Right now, I'm still doing too much of the nitty gritty. I'm doing too much of chasing up things. And this year, I think I want to focus on developing systems and developing flow charts and everything, so that I can have a few people just doing everything that I'm doing right now, and dedicate myself uniquely to developing the business. I'm still too involved.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's some fantastic goals, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to, again, get their parents out of any sort of debt, buy them any sort of houses, retire them. A lot of people would be like to do that. So that's fantastic to hear. So finally, before we kind of wrap up this this interview, going off what you know now, because you've been, again, we all start at pretty much knowing next to nothing to knowing to what we kind of know now. What sort of advice would you give to people who were in your position at one point? So I'm talking beginners to new people who are just looking into dropshipping, just looking into Facebook ads, and just getting started. What sort of things would you tell those people? What's your best advice would you give those people?
Keep at it, man. Keep at it. Like, if I've done it, you can do it too. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and I have the same mentality. There's people that are killing it. They're young. They're not necessarily the smartest people, and they're doing it. So why wouldn't you? Just keep at it. Keep grinding. It'll work.
Yeah. And I mean, if it doesn't work on your first product, again, I've got loads of domains that I purchase and they don't work out. There's not every single store will work out for you guys, and not every single product will work out for you guys. But again, consistency will always win at the end of the day. Okay. So it's been a pleasure to speak with you, Albert. Let the people know where they can kind of get hold of you, where they can contact you if you're on Instagram. I know you're inside the Facebook group, inside of our group, and on Facebook, and in a lot of the different Facebook groups as well. But let the people know how they can kind of get hold of you if they've got any sort of questions at all.
Sure. You can find me on Instagram. It's ALUT7, number 7, Albert7. Or Facebook, I guess, Albert at Set. I'll figure out how to spell that.
I'll drop some sort of links down below so people can find out you on Instagram and on Facebook as well. Okay.
I'm not a guru or a mentor of any kind.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, I'll say that he's not got a YouTube channel. While he may do one in the next, I'm not so sure. But he's just a normal, hardworking guy, and it's a pleasure to to be able to see where you started off and to how you've ended up and where you're going to go on to. It's a pleasure to have this conversation with you guys, and I'm assuming a lot of people will get some value out of this and also some inspiration as well. So that is it. Yes, that is it for today. I know this is a little bit different in terms of my content. Doing this actually has kind of like inspired me maybe to do some sort of podcast whereby I could kind of get other guests on, maybe start a second channel. But we never know. But anyway, it's a pleasure to have you on, Albert. Thank you very much. Thank you for all you guys watching in, and I'll see you in the next video. So hopefully you got some value out of this video. Like I said, this is something a little bit different on my channel. If you did enjoy this longer form content, then let me know. Should I start out a new channel with, you know, just longer form podcast, interviewing students and other experts and just, you know, putting out longer form content? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, if you do want to personally learn from me and join Ecom Beast 2.0 course, then make sure, of course, you check the link out down below. Use the code YouTube100 and it will take $100 off the course. I am setting up a private e-commerce Discord that will be available soon. Everyone who does join the Ecom Beast course as of now will get 100% free access and will be grandfathered into that. So again, like I've mentioned, check out that link down below and you'll get all access to that. Hit me up on Instagram, drop me a like, drop me a DM, drop me a comment, and we can try and connect on there. But that is it for this video. Make sure, of course, you smash that like button and of course drop a comment down below. Take care and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.